Wow, what does it mean to be an author? I know what I thought it meant. And I thought, ooh, I'm going to sit down, and I had pencil and I had notebook, and I'm going to write a story, and there we are. Well, then I start realizing there's way more to doing that. You know, there's a science, there's an art to writing. That is why writing is one of the liberal arts and sciences. So, okay, being an author means you want to do a lot of work that is not necessarily falling into the category of most people's perceptions of sweat of your brow. Though you try spending a week trying to make a sentence sound right, you understand there is a lot of work to it. Granted, it's not the physical stuff that I was used to growing up. It's more mental, but it's nonetheless difficult. And then you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? And I recently posted a quote by Stan Lee, again, one of my heroes. And he was explaining to somebody how he used to feel embarrassed when he told him he illustrated comic books, because he had friends that were engineers and doctors and scientists. And this is following the Second World War, where, you know, science and technology and society and advancements and everything are just taken off. And I illustrate funny books. So, as he said, he used to feel kind of self-conscious, even embarrassed about it. And then he realized that he was actually providing a very valuable service. He was entertaining people. People wanted an escapism because, yes, we had all kinds of technological advancements. You had television, you had 3D movies, you had cars, you had jets, you had also, technology was taking off. You also had the threat of atomic war. You also had the Cold War. You also had the Berlin Wall crisis. You had the Cuban Missile Crisis. You had the Suez Crisis, the Korean War. There were all kinds of things that were weighing on your mind. And being able to escape for a few minutes, as he pointed out, maybe I was keeping people from going off the deep end. So then I realized I'm providing a service. And being a writer, being an author, basically means being a storyteller, a raconteur, if you will. And that is something that goes way back with the human psyche. That goes back to when we were gathered in caves around fires. Storytelling goes back before we had writing. So to be a storyteller is the foundation for being an author. And being an author is somebody who is preserving an art form. It might be Harlequin romances. It might be science fiction or fantasy. It might be thriller. It might be suspense. It might be police procedural. It might be supernatural. It might be young adult. It might be Harry Potter. It might be Game of Thrones. It might be Lord of the Rings. It might be Little Women. It's something that is going to touch a person's life. They're going to read your book. They're going to read your poem. They're going to read your essay. They're going to read your blog. And they're going to come away from it changed. And once you understand that, once you understand your responsibility to whoever is going to invest their time in reading your book, your manuscript, your poem, your essay, your article, whatever, once you realize your obligation to them, you're going to try a lot harder than what you had originally thought. You're going to try and perfect your craft. You're always going to try to write better. You're always going to try and make your characters more believable. You're always going to try and make your scenarios more engaging, your emotions more vivid. You're going to really make the effort of making your reader forget their problems, forget their world, and forget themselves. They have just entered the world that you have created. And so, if you want to be an author, remember, it may be not one of the oldest professions of the world, but definitely a very ancient vocation.